After going through a lot of conferences and being in a lot of different organizations, there's definitely people that want to scale. I've realized that is not me. When people say lifestyle business, I say sign me up. Like, I want to make a good amount of money. I want to have a good savings. I don't want to spend 20 hours a day worrying about my business. Like, I don't want 50 employees. I don't want payroll. Like, I've realized that what I want to do is empower women that want this as like a secondary income, or they want to get into this business, but they know that at first it is going to take a lot of work to build up a network, to get a candidate pool, to get your name out there. I want to stay real. I want to stay exactly the same, where I don't bring so many people on that the quality of candidates that go out is lost because I can't keep up.
Welcome back to the Badass Women in Business podcast. As always, we try to find the unique badass women in the world today to brighten up your days and be inspired by. Today, I have a feeling we're going to have a lot of laughs, hopefully, with Kristin Heideman. Kristin, welcome to our show. And the same question we ask everybody is, tell us your story and how you got to where you are today.
Well, how much time do we have? I started out about 20 years ago, in insurance. I answered an ad out of the newspaper. I didn't know what insurance meant. I didn't know what an endorsement meant or liability, nor do most people, to this day. I just wanted to be close to my son's school. So I answered this ad. I go to this agency and I worked there for 6 years. I learned the ins and outs of insurance. And through that process, met a lot of connections within the industry in Kansas City. And one thing that stuck with me is the women are just typing away all day long, and staying the latest. And we're walking out to the crappiest cars in the parking lot. And I remember looking at the rows of very nice cars that were usually gone by about 2:00, 3:00 every day, and thinking, something does not add up. Like, I want to get licensed. I want to learn in this industry. How can I go from typing ID cards all day to having a Mercedes instead of a Ford Focus that I most likely have to jumpstart, every 3 days. And so it kind of piqued my interest. I stayed there for 6 years. I love that company. They're a client to this day. I just had someone interview with them today. But I'm very big into relationship building. And so insurance is kind of known as a boring industry. It's not like people are like, I can't wait to get into insurance, but it's a very great industry to get into as far as growth, what kind of money that you can make. Everyone, no matter what the economy does, is going to have insurance. And so it's never going to go anywhere. So I continued to grow within the industry. I stayed in it for about 12 years. I got recruited to go into recruiting, but on the manufacturing side. So I did that for a few years. Not my calling. I was good at it, but that little pandemic hit in 2020. And you could imagine people weren't trying to go to work in a factory for $11 an hour when none of us knew what was going on. And so it started really weighing on my mental health. Like, I can't do this every day where I'm just calling people. Will you go to work tomorrow? Knowing they're not going to work tomorrow. And so after that, I took a break, did some HR type work, also knew that wasn't for me, and then started doing insurance recruiting. And I was 41, 42. And it was the most successful year I ever had in my life. I felt like this was the calling that I didn't know, like, I could bring the two worlds together and do so well at it. And so I was at a company. I was on track to win Rookie of the Year. I made a lot of money for them and for myself. And anyway, I won't go into too many details, but that came to an end after that first year for, I think, financial reasons. And I just realized when I got let go on January 16th, and I bought my computer on the 17th, as soon as Best Buy opened their doors, and I registered my business on the 18th because I knew I was good at this job. I love it. I love especially helping women within the industry see their worth, understand, like, we know the policies in and out. Like, don't let somebody tell you that you can only be at this position. You know what I mean? Like, you can do anything that you want. And I want to help, like, guide them to that. And so I was very passionate about doing it. I had to go through some, non-compete stuff and legal stuff and all of that. But now, I'm free as can be. January will be 3 years, and I could not be happier. Like the amount of lives that I've been able to touch and help. Even if I don't specifically find them a job, I leave them better than when I found them as far as confidence. And that is what I feel like it's meant to be. Like, I like money, but like, that's not the only reason I do this job. You know what I mean? Like, I want women to stop playing small and being like, I'm comfortable. I've been here for 30 years. I've been here for 10 years. Like, I mean, that's fine for some people, but like, if you're seeking more, please don't be afraid to like go for it, because you're cutting like yourself short. And so anyway, was that too long of an answer?
No, that's great. And I was chuckling because Kristin and I had a conversation not too long ago with a client. And one of the things that we always ask, especially in a new relationship, in order to frame our forecasting is, how much money do you want to make? And the answer was at least, and she gave an amount. Kristy followed up by, at least, or that's what you need and want? And she goes, well, no, what I need and want. And so I think it's a good lesson to say, start with what you want.
Yes.
And then work towards that. And you're absolutely right to say that. And I think we've had that conversation 3 times today already with all of our podcast guests as we were recording episodes about the undervaluation that we often do of our capabilities and what we're offering and just the things that we sell because of a lack of confidence. So thanks for bringing that up again.
Absolutely.
I am curious, who is the ideal person to work in insurance?
That varies. So the sales side is where you're going to make the most money within the industry. So that takes a certain type of person. I never could jump into that role because I was raising that kid who's now 23. But I would say somebody that wants to learn and wants to absorb the information. So you could sit in that cubicle for the rest of your life and do the same job. So that there is room for that. But I would say somebody that's motivated, and I wish that I could help more young people understand that, like, maybe don't waste all that money if you don't know what you want within like college. If you go get a $200 license, you could start out making 45, 50,000, but the information that you're going to learn and the amount of people that are leaving the industry for retirement over the next 5 years, like, you're going to triple your income in 5 years. And you cannot say that about most industries, I feel like. And so it's somebody that wants to like get in there and do the work and learn, not job hop and be like, this really sucks. Okay, well, a lot of jobs do when you're getting started. Let's be honest. Like, a lot of corporate jobs are, boring, especially to this younger generation. But like, if you really dig in, you can go far within this industry. Like life-changing money.
Why do you think women are so underrepresented in the insurance industry?
Well, I think if you look at it, they're not. It's that they are in the service roles. There's a lot of women in the industry, a lot. They're just maybe not as many. Well, there's not as many in the leadership part and the money-making roles. And so I have seen a great change from when I've been in it until now, but there's still so much room for improvement. I mean, we have a very strong attention to detail. There's a golfing thing here in Kansas City, driving pursuits, that 2 insurance women started. So people would get together for like a networking event and learn how to golf, because so many deals within insurance are done on the golf course, or relationships are built that way. I mean, I got myself some clubs. They're pink and gray. But like, you shouldn't be shut out of the conversation because you don't know how to golf. But like, it's still a bit of an old school industry in that fact. But there's plenty of women within the industry. They're just maybe not in the higher up roles that you hear about or you see.
So getting back to your story.
Yes.
You get let go from a job you like and you're successful at. Then you go to Best Buy, buy a computer, and start your own company. What made you believe in yourself enough that you thought, I can do that, and then crush it for the next, few years?
A lot of people that I have met throughout that first year of doing insurance recruiting, they were like, why are you not working for yourself? And it never had even dawned on me. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, where would I even start? Like, what do you mean? It never had even crossed my mind. And then having done so well in that position, I was like, there's no way I can go back to a cubicle life. Like, I just cannot. I can't go back to cold calling and like, did you make your 50 dials today? Did you like check these 17 boxes? Like, that's not how you're a good recruiter, first of all. Quality conversations aren't going to happen 50 a day, okay? Maybe 10. And that's a very tiring day for me. If I have 10 great conversations, like I need to have Chardonnay starting at 3:30, like I've talked too much today. And I'm a talker, but I don't want to work for a company where they just go by KPIs all the time. I want genuine relationships and to be able to have a conversation with a gal or a guy who they might need to talk to me for 45 minutes. You know what I mean? Not rush them off because I need to make 49 more dials. I don't really have time to build a relationship. So I just felt like the only way this is going to work going forward is if I do it myself, because I know how to make relationships that last, and why go bring that to somebody else again. And maybe something goes wrong in their organization and the same thing happens. And then I have to walk away and leave my clients again. And I just couldn't do it. And my husband was such a great support system on that. Like, shout out to Jimmy on that, because I think obviously if I was back in my other situation where I was, kind of paycheck to paycheck, I wouldn't have been able to make that leap. But I knew in my heart of hearts, I had to do it and do it my way, the right way, not just moving people along, like not really caring where they ended up as long as you make money. I don't operate like that. And I didn't back then and I don't now.
As still a relatively new business owner, what have been some of your greatest challenges that you did not foresee or even have the ability to think about as you started your business?
So, being the one person, okay, as discussed when we got on this call, I'm not an IT person. I barely can plug these headphones in, okay? I'm good at my job, but I am not good at accounting. So I had to go through 4 CPAs to find one that actually lined up with what I was trying to do. And so knowing how much time it takes in a week to do like the back office stuff, the invoicing, the making sure you're like compliant to, a lot of things. There's a lot of tools out there, and a lot of new business owners that I've now observed, they want to buy everything. That is not me. So I feel like I could run my business on my phone and my notepad, like if I had to. So just being aware, and I tell my mom, I can't believe this is working. I'm running this business on a Dollar Tree budget. But that's all you need. When you know what you're doing, like you don't need, why am I going to spend $1,300 a month for you to look up someone's email? Nancy Drew, I'm from the 90s. I can find that email. Okay. I'll find somebody that knows somebody that can give me an email at that organization. I'm not giving you $1,300 a month to look up some phone numbers and some emails. You know what I'm saying? There's tools that people spend money on. And so being smart about that. Now I have gotten where I thought I needed a specific tool. I won't name names on the one because I do use their free side, but I wish I wouldn't have done that. It was like a car payment a month. I was like, Ford Focus gone, Ford Focus gone. Like, and I wish I wouldn't have spent all that money in the first year, but I didn't know. So I thought I had to have like at least one tool. And really at the end of the day, I need a management system, which I suck at using. But I need somewhere to put my data. Other than that, I'm not mass blasting people. So I don't need a tool that's going to send you out like 100 emails a month. An old boss said, you need to have 16 touches to get somebody to take your call. I said, you touched me 16 times. I'm calling the cops. Like 16 times, it's too much. That is too much. If they know about me and I'm consistent on LinkedIn, why would they need to hear from me 16 times? No, I'm not doing that. So just being like aware, I just got back from a conference where I was just trying to get, like, I was accepted into this program. I went for 2 days and I'm excited. It's a year-long program. But another side of it was like all vendors. 90% of them don't line up with what I do. I don't do any hourly. I only do direct hire. I like their merch, but like I was open with them. Like before I take this Yeti, like I'm not going to use your services. But now the amount of emails for like calls on using their service, I was like, Bob, I told you I don't do hourly employees. You told me that Yeti was just for me, but now you want to have a call. I I still don't use hourly. I don't need a payroll company. I don't need a drug screen company. I don't need you to check I-9s because I don't hire anybody. Like I do all direct hire. So kind of being aware and not falling into the trap of like, oh, I have to have this to be successful because this other recruiter swears by it. Like, no, I don't.
Aside from the laugh, which thank you for that. This is an extremely important lesson for first-time entrepreneurs because I think it's a really easy way to distract yourself for what you should be doing. And while 16 touches, I'm with you. If you're focused on building real relationships, it's not going to take more than a couple of touches to get that meeting and get to know someone because you're not supposed to be blasting them with sales messages or marketing messages. There are so many people who are starting their first business and think that they need the greatest and latest of the technology to help them run it, which all you need is access to a database of some sort, know who you're serving, and just build relationships, not smile and dial, not check off boxes, not make your 50 calls a day, but be consistent, like understand who is going to be able to help and support you in building your book of business, who is going to be sending your referrals, who is your ideal client persona, et cetera, and then be consistent. I think that consistency is what a lot of people don't get, and they hide behind finding all of the tech and all of the tools and all of the toys because it's the easy thing to do, or redoing their website 50,000 times. That's happened as well.
And it's a waste of time. You spend so much time learning the tool don't buy the tool until you get your first deal. Don't buy anything. You might crash and burn. And guess what? Most of them make you sign up for a year. That's really going to suck if you're back to working in a cubicle, making payments to, whatever. And they distract themselves, like you said, like with that stuff. And going to the consistency thing is LinkedIn has been huge for me on just the regular platform, the free platform, consistent posting, variety of postings. Like you can tell there's not a bot doing my posting. Like it is me. I got quirky stories. I throw a little personal, story in there, a little poll, whatever. But you can tell the ones that are getting like activity on their page and not. And like my client that I got in December, shout out Brian, I got an email from him that said, I guess I'm supposed to know you, which at first I was like, okay. It was some lady that followed me, saw my consistency I had never even spoken to, who referred him to me. We talked for an hour and a half that day. I interviewed a girl that Monday from Miami. He hired her that day. Like, because I listen when I talk to him. So I've never even connected with the person that referred me. And so when I was just out of town last week for our 5-year anniversary trip, I got 2 referrals for clients and 2 candidate referrals, like high level people, because it's working for me when I'm not there. But it's all consistency throughout the year that has gotten me to this point where I don't have to do these stupid campaigns like click here, I'll add you to my mailing list and blast your email 16 times a day, a week.
Is hiring a recruiter common in the insurance industry?
Yes, it has to be. It has to be because, again, the talent pool is getting smaller and smaller, but the increase in demand is like, it's not going to line up very soon. So I try to tell my smaller clients, you have to have some flexibility. Like pretty soon we're going to run out of people, period. So you can't say you need them in 5 days a week, 8 to 5, 30-minute lunch. Like those days are over and you want to pay them $55,000. Like politely, no, thank you. That person does not exist anymore. So even if you think you can get a young kid and train them, they're going to get trained and then the big boy's going to come and they're going to get them. I mean, for $20,000 more, $30,000 more. And so you always have to have somebody with their eyes out on the market, which is how I run my business. Very much like, again, building the relationships, but then I come to those clients when I have what I call a gem of gems. So when I know that they line up perfect with the organization, I don't care if they have a job posted. I don't care if they've asked me for somebody. I'm going to say, hey, Rob, this person has 5 years doing this, and the smart companies, they're going to interview that person, whether they have the direct need or not. And that's why my top client, why we work so well together. And when I had that call with him, I was shaking like a leaf because I had already signed with them. I'd already filled with them, but I got up to a president level. And I was like, best call of my career, 45 minutes. He's just like me. He cuts out all the BS. He tells me what he needs. And I mean, the HR people don't like me at that company because I do. I get people before they know they need them because I'm always looking. And so that's why they need good recruiters, not recruiters that are just like, hey, I posted an Indeed ad and here's 3 resumes, but like well-vetted, qualified candidates. They're always going to need that as a partner to get the right talent.
And also talk to me a little bit more about, I think the term is the silver tsunami, with people leaving and retiring and how that is affecting the insurance industry. And what is the opportunity for people that may be new or getting into the industry to be able to kind of get a leg up in those circumstances?
So start now. Take the initiative, go get licensed. Like I said, I don't know. I think it's like $100 or $200 at this point, but you could do it online. Some of us need an in-person class, but like to show the initiative that you've already gotten licensed, that's going to get your foot in the door. But if you think about it, say you go in and you're $50,000 salary and this person's retiring and this person's retiring over the next 2 or 3 years, you're going to gain so much on the job experience. And that's what you have to do in this industry. There's no book that's going to teach you. You're going to have to do it day in and day out. Like I told my son when I said, you should get your license, but it's going to take a couple years to build up because you have to learn the industry hands-on. No book's going to show you what the repetition is of doing the job. So if they're even considering it, I would say get in now, because think about when all the people that are retiring and all the knowledge that they're taking with them, that's the crazy part, is they're not going to be able to train the younger people as fast as the retiring is going to happen. So I feel like a lot of the retirees are going to end up coming back as consultants or part-time people because that knowledge is there and you can't teach it like out of a book. You could have it in a training manual, but like there's so much to be said about hands-on experience.
That is so true about so many things. I mean, people think that they're going to go get an MBA right after undergrad without having any working experience and come out as CEO. That's not how it works. After X amount of years in business school, there are still things that I'm learning today that I would have never learned in a book. Situation, non-hypothetical stuff. And I think it's the same unless you're studying the law or medicine, like stuff that is really, really technical or engineering. There's very little you're going to learn in school that is going to apply verbatim into real life. So you're welcome if I just saved you on 4 years of college.
Right. So much money, so much debt. And then they don't even know what they want to do. And then it's like, this is the closest I'm getting to my radio broadcasting major I started out with.
There you go.
When I purchased this microphone.
And you're on the air. Look at that. We're recording.
Delilah, I'll be calling you. She's going to be a guest on my podcast. Wait.
That's awesome. Talk to me about vision for your company. So the little snafu we had in our health that's called the pandemic was 4 years ago.
Right.
How have you evolved since you started and what's the future looking like?
So after going through a lot of conferences and being in a lot of different organizations, there's definitely people that want to scale. I've realized that is not me. When people say lifestyle business, I say sign me up. Like I want to make a good amount of money. I want to have a good savings. I don't want to spend 20 hours a day worrying about my business. Like I don't want 50 employees. I don't want payroll. Like I've realized that what I want to do is empower women that want this as like a secondary income, or they want to get into this business, but they know that at first it is going to take a lot of work to build up a network, to get a candidate pool, to get your name out there. I want to find maybe 3 to 5 women over the next 2 years. And I have given, I do have contractors that work for me that, will source candidates for me, but ultimately I still want to stay where it's just like, I'm the go-to person, within my client base when they have a direct need. I don't see myself being like a huge, franchise owner or that's just not the vision that I have. I want to stay real. I want to stay like exactly the same, where I don't bring so many people on that the quality of candidates that go out is lost because I can't keep up. So that, going back to when you were like, what have you learned? That's one thing I've learned. I don't have the time in my day to recheck everybody's work to make sure what they sent me is up to the caliber of candidate. Because you can look at a piece of paper and be like, oh, Sally worked here for 10 years. She's good. But unless I talk to each person, like, how can I slap my name on that and my reputation? And so that's the part where I'm just like, it's not really that bad to just be small but mighty. Like, as far as company wise, be specialized. That's why I don't do anything besides insurance. And people are like, can you help my cousin Billy Bob with his engineering? No, I cannot. I don't know anything about engineering. And I would sound like a fool if I tried to pretend. I just want to stay focused in my niche and just do a good job and kind of stay as a lifestyle business, I guess is what they call it. I like this lifestyle.
I love that you're clear in that and that you're not getting caught up in the noise of so many people and messages that are being sent and said today that only success comes from scaling. Like, everyone defines their own success, just like Aggie was referencing earlier. And as long as you're clear on that and you see a path to that, that is enough. And your enough is very different than somebody else's enough. And I think that's something as women that we also need to start embracing a little bit more, not always thinking that we have to chase and be the best if that's not really what our authentic selves are telling us. And so I'd be curious on what your thoughts are around other women that maybe want to start something, but also don't have the desire to scale too far beyond themselves. Like, why are you so certain that you want it to just stay as is? Like, what gives you that certainty?
I think I've just always been a very observant person. And so when I see the people that to me have no life because all they're doing is like, they're attached to their phone, which not to say, if there's a deal coming through, this phone's going to be right by my side, best friend. But I don't need to be with it all the time. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want my whole entire life revolving around the dings on my phone. And you're just like, when's enough enough? So if I bill, say $500,000 a year or the next year, 750, I don't need to be like, that was great. Let me get to 7 million in 3 years and have 20 employees, 7 offshore people, spend all my time training. Like, again, to each their own. I am not a trainer. I've realized I don't think my calling is, I feel like everybody's going to give what I give. And then I get heartbroken when they don't, or they don't even rise to half of it. And so the amount of time invested and wasted is just, I could just do it myself. Like, I do need to get some back office support, like I shouldn't be doing some of these tasks for sure. But I just don't think that everybody's end goal should be, so say you want to make 7 million. How many million are you spending to get to that 7 million? How many hires, fires, possible claims, like on insurance? Like, did they mess up? Just, there's so many things that, I'm legal, I'm accounting, I'm HR, I'm IT. Like, I don't love that part, but I don't want to have so many people that I have to be like watching, did you make your 50 dials? Like, so, it could change down the road, but right now I don't see that as my lifestyle. I want to do a good job for the clients that I have and keep living office wherever I want.
That's completely fair. And, employer-employee relationships are not for everyone.
Yeah.
And I think that there are some people who thrive being solos and other people who thrive working in teams. And it's not because you're solo that you can't have your team, your support system, whether it's through, an advisor that you work with or a circle of peers that you are interacting with on a regular basis to exchange ideas, mastermind, talk about issues, because entrepreneurship inherently is lonely at the top. And I think that having that support system is very important. So on that note is like, have you built a community around you that is helping you?
Yes. So I was going to say,
yeah.
So after last October, I think I went to this conference, which again, we've talked about my tech savviness. It was all about ChatGPT, AI, all of this, one of the whole days. My mouth was like, I'm such an idiot. I should have been using a lot of this. Anyway, I learned so much that day. Met so many great females at that conference. And I was leaving there and I was like, why do we wait for these conferences for once a year? Or like some of those conferences cost thousands of dollars. I'm thrifty. Why are we waiting? You know what I mean? Especially local gals. So that's why I started KC Recruit Her in January here in Kansas City, where it could be HR people, independent owners like myself, recruiters at companies, stuff like that. To be able to come, there's no cost, like come share frustration, share wins, share like, holy shit, this tool is so great. Or like this tool was such a ripoff. Like here's a promo code for $600 off for this tool that I wish I would have had. Things like that. And so I just developed my own group. We meet monthly and, some months are bigger than others. We've had great speakers and I just feel like, yeah, you do need, I'm a very social person and I do feel like I need a community. And so like through there, I've met so many great female owners, people at companies and things like that. It's like, why do we wait for somebody to tell us like, file in here, click here to spend $3,000 to come to this conference? Like, do you want to meet at the local bar and grill and chat some things out or like go to this place and have a female speaker? We're allowed to do that. Like, we don't have to always wait for something to get set up. We can just set it up ourselves. And so that's kind of what I have developed here in Kansas City. And I did hire a coach last year after a conference and they've taught me a lot of stuff. But I think the one-on or like the in-person community is like so valuable.
It's nice when you see there's a need and the ability to create it. And that's also incredible because we need more support, period. End of story. It doesn't matter what position you sit or are in. It's really about how do we start up-leveling each other. And as Aggie said earlier, make us feel not like it's lonely. Because entrepreneurship is extremely lonely. And as women in it, it's doubly lonely, especially if you don't have pink golf clubs with gray grips. I mean, I can't get out there with you.
Garage sale by.
Ooh, smart.
My son goes, did you even try them out to see if they were right-handed? I was like, what? I thought it was one size.
Great question.
Also, when you order a golf club, don't get it for the right if you're right-handed. You need it on this one. I didn't know.
That's awesome.
I mean, I don't know anything about golf, okay? I did get a birdie or something.
Woo!
A par and a birdie
That's
or something.
awesome.
I don't know. I didn't really.
Those are good words.
I was there to drive the cart and show off my pink clubs and my both gloves.
I love it.
Killed it.
Besides relationships and having a strong network, what else do you say sets you apart as a badass recruiter?
I think it's just like transparency and being the exact same way, whether I'm talking to the CEO or the lady making $13 an hour or $15 an hour. Like, I get very worked up when I have big calls and like I did today. And then when I get on there, I'm just like, no, just be like, I'm just going to be myself. If they don't want to go with me, that's totally fine. But like, I'm not going to pretend to be one way. I'm going to stand up and say, if you want to work with me, this is how we have to do things. Like, this is how the process. And like, my mom, I have 7 siblings. I'm the 5th of 7. She goes, where did you come from? Like, the confidence that you have, she's like, I do not have, your sisters do not have, like, and nothing against them. They have confidence. They just don't have, as far as me being like, no, but why? Like, why can't I get this order? Or why can't I get this client? I've been like that since I was a kid. Like, why can't I meet Paula Abdul? I'm going to meet Paula Abdul. It took me till I was 40, but I met her. And so like having kind of like, I guess the word is like gumption, or I don't know if that's right, but just being transparent enough that they do want to open up to you and really tell you about why they would make a change and actually giving a crap and not making them feel like a transaction. I think overall, that's just what sets me apart, client wise and candidate wise, is like what you see is what you get. And if I think your hiring steps are too much, I'm going to tell you it ain't going to work. Would you be open to cutting the process or letting them have a day from home? And if you don't, then that's fine. But this is still going to be open in 3 months or 4 months. You know what I mean? And hopefully building enough like of a reputation that they take what you say into heart, like client and candidate.
First of all, if it took you 40 years to meet Paula Abdul, now I'm going to count down the days or months until you meet Taylor Swift, considering
I'll be tagging her. Okay. Let's not. No, I am being her friend and supporting my friend. Don't use that S word, okay?
Fine. I take it back. Education of companies who are hiring people out there. So you've mentioned it a few times already. Like I think we've learned a lot of lessons when we were forced to stay home and work in a disrupted and environment where teams were completely broken apart, and people were working from home or from the coffee shop or wherever they could find space to work, to back to let's get back into the office, because as employers, we feel like you're more productive in a controlled environment rather than you being able to take micro breaks here and there to go switch your laundry, which by the way, to those listening, if you're doing your laundry while working, like nobody sits at their desk for 8 hours. So they can go switch off their laundry if they want to, if they can have productivity in other places. But how much of that education do you have to provide to employers to be like, hey, this is where the state and expectations are from candidates today. And if you want your way, then you ain't going to get nobody.
So a lot. I have to educate a lot. I had a client referral about 6 weeks ago, and it's in a small town in Kansas. And I was like, I'll take the call, but like, they'll probably not want to use me because a fee. And like, anyway, I prejudged. Okay. They were 3 badass ladies who like own their own agency. They're running 3 locations. I listened to what they said. We were able to just, conversate. They offered a remote option. I knew right then, like, toodaloo, I'll have this filled today. And so I left that phone call, did my things, probably this, but anyway, I found the people. I found the people. Whichever way I found them, don't worry about it. But I found the people. I sent them 3 people. They wrote me back and they said, can we hire 2 of the 3? Okay. So they hired 2 of the 3. Great. Yesterday, 2 days ago. No, yesterday. They said they're both doing great. We actually need a 3rd. Somebody's retiring. So like I prejudged that they were going to be not up to par because like where their area was. You know why they're up to par? Because they have flexibility and they're offering 100% remote. I just sent them somebody today. She has a second interview next week. That's how fast I can fill when you offer flexibility. So when I try to educate a client that has an opening for 6 months on different ways, either got to pay more or offer the flexibility and you don't change, that's why your job's still open. So I even wrote that client and I said, hey, look what happened with this client. Isn't that neat? They still didn't change. I mean, eventually they're all going to have to change. They're all going to have to, you got to give something, either more money or more flexibility. And really in some of those states, Florida, people do not want to wait in traffic anymore. That bridge in Tampa, those people have me scared. They're like, I can't get stuck in traffic. I have a kid, or whatever, or I don't want to spend 3 hours getting home. So what? I'm going to say this part. I'm rambling now, but in insurance, you cannot fake the job very long, period. It's not like other jobs that maybe you could move your mouse around with a little car that's on auto. No, people are waiting for their ID cards to get their car licensed. They're waiting for their evidence of insurance to get their house sale complete. They're waiting at the DMV. They're waiting at the mortgage broker. They're waiting. It doesn't happen. You're going to know pretty quick if they're not working. And that's when you say we're going to part ways. These are adult, licensed professional people. They're not hitting their mouths. They know quotes have to get out. They have to be submitted. It's so much time sensitive stuff that you're going to sniff out non-workers very quickly. And you just cut your losses and let's get the right person in there. But the whole, we need them in the seat thing, that's coming to an end, or the seat's going to be empty and your business is going to be, not great.
You just made me appreciate my insurance agent on the personal side, even more than I did, because we just recently bought a car, and I texted her as we were going to the dealership, and I said, can you insure this car? We're going to buy it today. And within 20 minutes, I had my insurance car before I got to the dealership. And so when they asked me for proof of insurance, I'm like, here it is with their VIN number and everything like that. So I think it's also good for people to know that same as your relationship with a banker, your relationship with an insurance agent who understands you, who actually is proactive to review your policies on the reg and guide you towards, hey, let's shift carrier because this one is wanting to nickel and dime you at this point in time. We're going to go try this one so that you get the best stuff. I mean, insurance is not a joke. I don't think it is. And Kristin and I have very, very high expectations of the people that we partner with, whether it's on the liability side or on the health side, of like, who is going to represent us and help us basically get the best coverage, and also pay attention to the fact that if the carrier is doubling their fee year over year, because they tend to do that, that they're going to watch for this ahead of time and also renegotiate or find us another carrier when it's time to renew.
I will say this to any females or anyone listening. Please make sure that you're reviewing your coverages. Not that I'm in the industry anymore, but like when I reviewed a couple of my single females, homeowners or their auto, I'm like, especially their homeowners, I'm like, they increased your roof deductible to 1% or 5%. Like that's a very big change from like $1,000 deductible to 5% of your coverage A, which is like your whole entire home. People do not know that until they need to file a claim because they don't open that. So that's just a thing on the insurance part. But again, I just don't understand the flexibility thing. And I offer long guarantees with the candidates that I place. So you're going to know in 30 days if somebody's not doing the actual work. And then I'll get you somebody that you could try out again, or a different person. It's never happened where I've had to replace anybody, but I just don't understand why they're not given the flexibility. When the job is the job, who cares where they do it if you can get them like a quality person?
I mean, it's a trust issue, right? And I think that some people have been burned already when people are on location. And so they're having a hard time understanding if people are not performing on the job, how could they perform from home? And maybe it's because when they get home, they're focused on other things and they don't have that self-discipline to actually do the work. And it's hard. Working from home is not for everybody. It is like we've experienced it. All of our clients have experienced it. There is always that one hire that basically makes you rethink your entire flexibility process. And it's also like, do you have the bandwidth to actually train this person and onboard them properly and help them understand? Because on the candidate side, there is also a responsibility to go back to the employer and say, time out, help me out, because there's something that I didn't fully grasp. But a lot of people don't want to do that because they also have oh my God, this is where there are so many people in the workforce right now because everybody's getting laid off left and right. So that means there's a lot more competition in the employee pool. And so you want to be your best. So your recourse is either ChatGPT or fake it till you make it. And sometimes before somebody realizes that you're faking it too much, you never make it. And then as an employer, you're like, well, shit, I just wasted money and time.
So what I suggest to them is, so there's different management systems within insurance. AMS 360 is the big one. Epic's the other big one. So I'll come and say, Karen has 7 years of Epic. That's the system that they have. So we already know she's going to know to be able to hop into the management system. She's done construction accounts, $100,000 accounts. That's what this book is. So that part is covered. I think if you say you're going to be in office training for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever they're comfortable with, even if you have to fly the person there, it's still going to save you money on bringing in the wrong person. I believe in multiple interviews. I want both people confident on both sides. Like, I don't rush things along. One thing a boss said to me that I'll never forget, when a candidate did not accept a position, she's like, you call him back and you say, who wears the pants in your relationship? I was like, I would never I would never say anything like that to anyone ever, ever, ever. It's none of my business. Like, no. And I would I want everybody to both sides to be 100%. Otherwise, let's keep looking. It does not do me a good, for any of us. If you take the job because you're desperate, or you take the job, or you hire the person because you're like, I need to get this role filled. Let's wait for the right match. It doesn't do anybody any good to get the wrong person in there.
If you had to give any small business owner, regardless of industry, one piece of advice when it comes to their own personal hiring and recruiting that could increase their success, what would be that one tip?
I wish I was better at that, but I would say as much as you can to find somebody that's in line with you as far as motivation and dedication. But sometimes they can fake it. So I'm still working on that. Somebody that's aligned with the actual drive. And then, I mean, really, it just kind of shows once they get going, unfortunately. But
love it. It's been a while since we've laughed like that. So thank you for the education and also the comic relief.
My pleasure.
It was great getting to know you, getting to know your passion as a Swiftie for your Kansas City neighbor out there. Last question before we leave. Did you ever get the Mercedes?
Did I get the what?
You said you wanted to drive a Mercedes instead of your Ford Focus. Did you ever get the Mercedes?
No, not yet. But I have a 2008 Sebring convertible as my side piece. So that's close enough.
Nice.
No, I'm going to get it. But I don't really like the models yet. I'm waiting.
Yeah, I have an issue with European imports. They're really, really, as luxury imports, they're really costly to maintain.
I totally understand. Do you guys care if we chat really quick about the other podcast for a sec?
No, please do.
I don't know how to plug.
Do.
Plug
your podcasts. Here, I'm opening the door. Plug your podcast.
So I've never done a podcast, obviously. This is my first podcast I've ever done, but I'm going to do my own starting December 10th. It's called Outspoken and Overbooked. Okay. It took me a while to come up with that with ChatGPT. But it's going to be a variety of badass females. So I did not want to make it just insurance or just recruiting or just female stuff. I feel like there's enough niche podcasts that I wanted to do a whole combination where we could get on and talk about, oh my God, the perimenopause this week, or this workout's been fantastic, or did you see Taylor's outfit at the thing? So it's going to be sort of all over the place. So I'm going to have Tara Renzi as my first guest on December 10th. She's an author. Her book actually just came out today. Be Who You Came to Be. She is a badass gal here in Kansas City who spoke at the KC Recruit Her. And you never know what you're going to get. When you meet somebody in person, and she blew me away. I just feel like she's one of the real deal gals. And so I'm excited to have her on, maybe you gals on sometime, but a whole variety of just casual conversations, sort of like this, but a little bit of business, a little bit of fun, obviously a little bit of humor. But I'm nervous about it, I'll be honest, because I don't think I'm that good at that kind of stuff. But I think that women need to start talking about more stuff, career elevation, the perimenopause things. I told my mom I could kick her ass for not telling me more about this. I go, you have 8 sisters. Nobody experienced any of this. This is all just brand new information. And so just an open forum to be able to communicate, we'll see. Maybe it'll last 2 episodes, but who knows? It's going to be fun.
Hey, we'll tune in. So
Okay.
Thanks for sharing. And hopefully everybody who's listening will tune in as well. What's the name again?
Outspoken and Overbooked.
Nice.
December 10th.
Very cool. Awesome. You heard it here first. Tune in on December 10th. Kristin, it was lovely getting to know you.
You too. Thank you, gals, for having me.
Absolutely. And we wish you all the success in the world.
Thank you.
And in the meantime, to anybody listening, we'll see you next week. Stay badass and all that jazz. See you, ladies. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we did recording it. If you like our show, please rate us, drop us a review on your favorite streaming app, and we'll catch you on the next episode. This was the Badass Women in Business podcast by Kristin Heideman.